Hello.
Computer, wake up.
Erica, I was telling Jenna that interviewing two people at the same time is like way, way harder. And so I'm gonna do my best. But if there's any like dead silence moments that are really awkward, it's Jenna's fault for setting it up this way.
I didn't even realize. I thought she was just doing it. She's like, we got a call. I'm like, what?
Why is it not letting me do this?
I don't know.
That's open?
No. Maybe. What the hell?
It's still circling, still doing the circle thing.
Yeah. Are we
Everything's
frozen?
No, you look fine. I don't know.
My
what
computer
to do.
just hates this moment.
Oh man.
I had Audacity open, so I just closed it, but it's trying to catch up.
Audacity might work.
I know, right?
Why didn't we just use that? I don't know.
Hang on, sorry, it's just frozen.
You can like shut it down if you want. Log back in. I won't hate you.
Oh my gosh.
The baby.
Yeah.
What baby?
The baby.
Her baby.
Your baby.
What the fuck? The whole thing is not doing anything.
Yeah.
Just turn the whole computer off. Turn it
All
back
right, bye.
on. All right.
Time I saw her, everything in my head went quiet. And I'm 24 times it was Wednesday. She never took me forever to walk home because there are lots of cracks on her sidewalk. When we moved in together, said she felt safe, like no one would ever rob us because I definitely locked the door 18 times. I'd always look her out when she talked, when she talked, when she talked, when she talked, when she talked. When she said she loved me, her mouth would curl up to me. Then she'd lay in bed and watch me turn all the lights off. On and off, 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 on and off. She'd close her eyes and imagine the days and nights just passing in front of her. Some mornings, I'd start kissing her goodbye, but she'd just leave because I was making her late for work. When I stopped at a crack in the sidewalk, she just kept walking. When she said she loved me, her mouth was a straight line. She told me I was taking up too much of her time. Last week,
Hello. You're
Hello.
back.
We are back.
It worked.
Yeah, we're recording.
Yes.
Mm.
That is great news. That is great news. So I guess I wanted to talk real quick, like before we get going, about the did you get to see the podcast primer thing?
Yeah.
Were there any questions in there that like jumped out at you as being worth asking and talking about? You're like,
Yeah, you like one of them.
Pull that thing up. What was it was like,
What have you done in the past 2 months?
oh yeah, that impacted your creativity.
Or any personal projects you really want to share about?
Yeah. I'm eating a bathing suit with Mary, the Virgin Mary on it.
what?
Yeah. And people are freaking out, but it was a really interesting creative process to get to that.
Mhm.
So we could talk about that.
That sounds interesting.
I like the kid in high school thing. I like the personal experiences one.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first time you made money doing something creative? I like that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I liked
also,
a lot of them. Not helpful.
But one of the things that I think is interesting in having both of you on is talking about like your relationship and how that turned into Blessed Is She. I think it's like a really good opportunity to talk about like collaboration and I guess the difficulties and joys of having partners, you know? So
Yeah.
I think that would be a cool angle to take too.
I like talking about that because people just think we're a little silo.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Nothing. I won't get into that. Yes. I love that approach.
Okay, cool. So let's just go ahead and jump in then.
Awesome.
You guys ready?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so one of the first things that I wanted to ask about with both of you together here is when you first saw each other, what was your first impression of each other? And did you immediately think, I like this person and want to be friends with them? Or were you like immediately like, we're not going to ever hang out?
So funny. We didn't meet each other until we'd been working together for a couple of months already.
I want to say like a year.
It wasn't a
You've
year.
been working together for a year before you met?
It was not a full year, but it was,
Come closer.
we had already done the first Lenten journal that I did with Blessed Is She. You had done the Advent one.
Mm-hmm.
Then we met on Instagram, and I thought I was like, oh, I could do something for you. I had just started doing lettering myself, and I thought I was just going to do an Instagram post. Like I could letter a quote for them or something. I didn't know what Blessed Is She was.
I didn't either.
And then it turned into this. And I love this story of how we met. So it was through Instagram, but then when we started talking, we realized that we knew a lot of the same people. And we had actually been to XLT every week in high school at the same place.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Matt Maher was the musician lead. Did Mike play then? So her husband was playing drums. And we never met each other. And I sat in the front right, and she sat in the back left, like the cool kids. And I was just like happy to be up front, praise and worship. And we never met. And that was, I graduated high school in 2007. You graduated 2005, but you were dating Mike?
Mm-mm.
You were not, but you still went. Were you guys groupies? Or you didn't go in those 2 years?
We went with like teens.
Okay.
But really, we were just going for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we finally met each other in 2014 or 2015, I think.
Yeah. So I found Erica on Instagram, or was referred to Erica on Instagram by a mutual friend. And then I saw you letter your very first thing you ever lettered. It started with a B. I want to say beautiful was the first. It was like just one word lettered, beautiful, or something so like funny. That. And I was like, oh, I love this look. And so I asked you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm hoping you should go back to sleep. Anthony, do you like edit a lot of this?
Oh, it's totally cool. Yeah.
Okay.
We can edit.
But I don't remember actually meeting you.
So I remember we had worked together, and then we met at a coffee shop.
Okay.
And we had already released Lent. Jenna lives in Phoenix. I am in LA, but my parents are from Phoenix. So I was back here, and we met up, and we met at, I don't remember it's like the cool coffee shop by
Cartel.
Cartel.
That was a long time, Erica. I want to say it was a year.
I don't think it was an entire year, but it was a long time. And I remember her like being taller than I'd imagined.
Yeah.
But then it was very comfortable. Like we'd known each other forever. So on my end, I was just like, we already had such a good relationship. And then it was so easy to be in the presence of the other. And I think at that time, we were just trying to do the next right thing. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. So to answer your question, if I had seen Erica, I would have been like, she is way too cool for me. She's not going to be friends with me. She's too hipster and adorable. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like dorky compared to you.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody feels dorky compared to Erica T.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Consistent experience across the board.
Right. Yeah. So I'm with the majority on that one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that too.
Yeah.
So did you guys like have a moment where it went like, okay, it sounds sort of like you just were working together and all of a sudden your work was becoming successful and you were tied because of that. Like what were some of those landmark moments where you became closer and closer and more integrated in your work?
I feel like I probably should have gotten all the journals out, because I feel like they are like such good touch points for us to like remember working together on that, you know? Yeah. But I mean, the very first time that Erica ever did our logo, I was like, oh my, I like died. I don't know. It was such like an innovative thing then, you know? And yeah, so.
It's weird. It almost feels like there wasn't ever a question. It just was.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what we were working on. Like even between, so Jenna had done the Advent journal. Then I came in, did the Lent journal. It printed out okay, but we literally used one stop mail. Like we were printing.
We use like a direct mailer person here locally in Phoenix who like sends direct mail. Like they don't know anything about books or journals or anything. And we literally have just like DIY'd ourselves the entire 4 years, you know?
And so when you walk through the unknown together, and you keep learning and you're growing and you're each kind of finding your own step, and we would do one thing and then the next time we would say, hey, let's try this. Let's see if we can make this happen. How can we do this? And each one was just a progression of the next. And so we didn't do much in between the Lent and Advent. Those were our two main things. And then that next year is when we started coming out with new products and kind of figuring out how to make more. But I'm not sure there was ever a moment. I don't think we ever could pause enough. Even now, it all happens so fast. There's no time to say like, what are we doing, or assess the relationship, or it just has been.
Yeah, I was just saying this to Erica recently. I was reading some commentary on Mary and Elizabeth and the visitation, and how Mary went in haste to go see Elizabeth, and that she was like so filled with the Holy Spirit that she went in haste, and not like that she's moving quickly, but just like that the Holy Spirit moves us in haste when things are right. It's just of him, you know? And so I really think that's been our relationship from the beginning, is it's just has fit. And I totally credit that to the Lord, obviously, but I'm someone that really loves team members. Like I love working on a team. I love collaboration. I love the back and forth. And when you mess up, like you have people that are in you in that mess, you know, like I think entrepreneurship can be really lonely. So it's been such a gift to me to have Erica here pretty much from the beginning, to be able, and such like a creative mind too, that we can bounce these things off of each other. And I just think it's a gift to be able to work so closely with someone, but she's also like doing her own thing, which I think is cool. You know, like it's not like we're just doing this together and it's just about Blessed Is She. Like she has her own creative pursuits, which I think is just really awesome and unique to our situation, you know?
Totally.
And even from like thinking of that too, there's been, because I have other sources of income and have other clients and have other things going on, there's less, I think from the beginning, there was less pressure to be like, this is the only way that I am able to put food in my mouth.
Yeah.
And that really allowed the creativity to come through and has been my investment. Like I equally believe in the mission and the beauty, and it's never really felt just like my job.
Yeah.
And so when you have that kind of personal investment where I'm not just going into work and leaving work, like there's this collaboration and an ease in it, because it's not like, I don't know how to exactly say it, but there's a little bit of freedom in that.
Right.
And has allowed us to have an equal relationship in a lot of ways, and where we can just collaborate together in a way that I haven't with anyone else. So like it's very easy for me. Jenna sends me the thing, we talk about what we want it to happen. Most of the time, we're on the same wavelength of how that's going to come out. And I can work through, maybe we talk in the beginning a few times of like what we envision, but most of the time I just take it to prayer, to the paper, and then come back. And then Jenna always tweaks it to just be a little bit better. And having those extra eyes for me has been such a blessing too, because I don't, like, she can see something that I didn't see because I've been staring at it and drawing it and putting it in the computer, and she can see it with fresh eyes and say like, hey, let's change the background color. Something so simple to do. And then we look at each other and we're like, it's right. And having that assurance of that, like both of us looking at it and saying this is right, has created a certain amount of work that like we can see the Holy Spirit working in, because it's like, oh yep, that's what I had too in my heart. And that's something that's invaluable that I don't have with my other clients most of the time. Right.
So I want to go back though, for people who are listening and who apparently are total imbeciles and don't know anything about Blessed Is She. What is Blessed Is She now? And then what was it then when you guys were just meeting each other?
I'm just want to die right now.
Oh, also,
is the baby? Can you hear the baby?
I can hear the baby, but 80% of the interviews that we have are with someone at home who has a baby. So this is a very normal, natural experience. We're all Catholic, we're pro-life, and pro-entrepreneurship, which just means that babies are a part of the interruption of meetings. And I think we just have to embrace it. So just go ahead. All right.
So I originally started Blessed Is She in hopes to be the women's ministry in every single parish. So like I wanted a woman who was traveling from New York to Nevada, that she would be able to go to a new parish and say, hey, oh, look, honey, they have Blessed Is She here too. And she automatically feels at home at that parish. It's similar, I think, to how parents feel when they're moving with high schoolers, and Life Teen is in a lot of parishes. Like you go to a parish that has Life Teen, you already kind of know the spirit of that parish. So I always just wanted Blessed Is She to be like the home for all women, for women all around the country. I wasn't anticipating an international anything. I wasn't anticipating Erica Ty's brilliant, what's the word? Like giving to the ministry and how much you would offer to it. So now it is a ministry that wants to help women pray, wants to help women dive into prayer every single day, which was the goal at the beginning, to read the word every day and to be in community. But the whole like product side, I never really anticipated. So the products have been really special to me, just having art on women's walls so that they can pray, giving them prayer journals, giving them the liturgical planner, like all of these things. I want, you were saying it yesterday, like to be able to look around and like what you're taking in is adding to your spirit. Yeah.
And what you see. And so having those things that are really beautiful. And I think I go into the product side of it too. And I think something that Jenna is really committed to and that we have built is that we don't want just women to pick up a thing that's done okay, you know, but we know that women's time is so important. And, you know, you've got 5 kids, you've got to be running around to school, or you're in school and you are taking a lot of classes and you're involved in your campus ministry and you have a job. And we want those 15 minutes that they're sitting with something in prayer to be really beautiful, so that they want to A, keep returning to it, and B, that it, like, even the way that the paper feels in your hand elevates you, like really is something special and not just something that you're going to throw aside, like something you take care of. And so, I mean, we really, like with the Catholic Journaling Bible, that was our main thing, is that we want it to be able to sit on someone's coffee table and be as much of a home decor piece as it is something that they're praying with, so that others are attracted to it, that you're attracted to it, that you want to have it out, you're proud of it. and also in our studies or in our planners, all of these little things that I don't think we saw from the beginning. I don't know if we envisioned that.
Yeah, another piece is I never anticipated Blessed Is She to be so such a tool for evangelization.
Mm-hmm.
The products are tools for evangelization. Like women are buying their daughters, their nieces, a Blessed Is She planner who might not necessarily be a practicing Catholic. And she now can like see these saints of the day and learn about the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And like, it's beautiful. And not just the products, but just how Blessed Is She has been a tool of connection for women. You know, maybe someone who's fallen away or someone who doesn't quite understand church teaching, to be able to say like, hey, let's do these studies together. And they get to learn together. And that person then brings their family into the church. Like it's incredible what Blessed Is She has turned into, when all that it started with was reading the daily readings for the day and sending out a reflection. And just what it's turned into has been incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. And it seems like there's something about the partnership between the desire to like give women community and that like that need that's there, like the way that you've run the team in that, Jenna, and then also the contribution that Erica has brought of like really wanting to elevate everything with beauty. I'm just wondering, what things have you a lot of times with partners, when even if you just, it's really comfortable when you first meet each other, but you haven't even talked about a whole lot of these things, like usually you have some formational experiences that have given you values that are just really deeply shared, even if you didn't experience those things together. So I'm just wondering if you could go back to who you guys were in high school, like which kids you were, and a little bit about that like process of growing up. And then I want to ask also the first time you did something entrepreneurial and made money doing something creative.
Go ahead.
I want to know what kind of kid you were in high school.
I was a total athlete.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So it definitely like goes into my like team lovingness. I was never excellent at anything. I was always like decent at everything. So that really kind of shaped a lot of like what I thought about myself. I never was creative, or I wasn't the best at any sport. I was just really good at all of them. So I think a lot of times I struggled with like, where do I fit in? Because like I didn't have one primary focus, you know? So yeah, I was an athlete, loved sports, total rebel, which I like loved. Like I embraced my rebellious side in high school for sure.
How did you rebel when you were in high school?
I liked being different. I mean, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, you can. That's what this is all about.
I was just telling people last night, I had a Blessed Is She small group with some ladies I had never met last night. And I said, yeah, I never struggled with chastity. Like I signed the chastity card in 8th grade. And I was like, but I did not sign the DARE card. Like I was like, no, guys, let's be honest. I'm going to a public high school. Things are different there. So anyway, I definitely embraced the non-DARE rebellious side of me, but I was very strong with my chastity side. I was so proud of it. Anyway, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm definitely like a huge proponent of teams now. And I think I always just felt like not so feminine either. Like I wasn't like a pretty girl. I wasn't into makeup or anything like that, or like fashionable. And I think Blessed Is She has really, like, the Lord has given me this to be able to tap into a different side of myself that I never even knew was there, or I never allowed myself to even like tap into. I was just like such an athlete and a tomboy that I thought that, oh, that's not for me, you know, like, I don't know. And not that Blessed Is She is like uber girly, but we do get complaints that it is too girly.
Which is funny because neither of us are very girly.
Yeah. Anyways, but I think I've just been able to like express creativity in a way that I never even knew I had. I mean, obviously you are a huge catalyst for that too, but.
So I have a question. Were you involved in Life Teen in high school?
Yeah.
And how did you, so like you were rebellious, but you went to like youth nights?
Yeah.
And
no one even knew that I was doing that in Life Teen. Yeah. I was like doing it with like my athlete friends.
Got it. So it was like your
classic like Life Teen double.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I always said like I have church friends, I have school friends, I have volleyball friends. Like I had like different segments and they never knew. Mm-mm.
Wow.
And not that I was hiding it. I just didn't do it with them.
Right. That was just not your crew that you were doing that with. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Erica?
In high school, I was not rebellious at all.
You weren't?
No. I mean, I didn't have a curfew or anything because my parents knew.
See, that was the problem. I had
anything.
too many restrictions.
Yeah.
Geez, mom and dad.
Yeah. I had 0 and did nothing with it. And so I was a really good student. I enjoyed school, but I was also really hard on myself about being perfect at it. So like I got 1 B and it was the most devastating moment ever. But I was like a student council kid. So I was in student council, but then I started a couple different, like community service groups. So I was the president of Community Counts, and we would go to a school downtown Phoenix, and we paired high school students with 3rd grade students, and we would go and read, and then they would come to our school and we would like get them jackets and shoes and different things like that. And so I really had a heart for people who weren't as fortunate as I was to live in the community and like have the life that I had. And so like I spent my summers working at St. Vincent de Paul, working like in the soup kitchen and all of these things. And so I didn't have a rebellious bone in my body. I didn't have any desire to do that. But I was a really hard worker and had a lot of big dreams for like, my big dream was that I was going to be a teacher in, like, what's the movie with Hilary Swank, and she has the high school students and they
No, with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Really? Like Freedom Writers? That's what it's called. Freedom Writers. Mm-hmm. So I was like, definitely that's what I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. I was not creative at all.
What's the one I'm thinking of with Coolio?
I don't know. I can see it, but I don't know what it's called.
Sorry.
So my life, I mean, I really just thought I was going to be a 3rd grade teacher in a poor school and spend my life. Like I was debating if I should become a religious sister, what God called me to be. I would spend like, this is it shouldn't be embarrassing, but like thinking of a high school student, like I didn't have interest in going to prom. So I spent 4 hours that night in adoration because all my friends were at prom. So I just went and prayed.
Wow.
And like it was, and there were things going on at home that were difficult. And like that was my way to like deal with the anxiety and worry and all of that.
Mm-hmm. It's a much healthier way than most people.
Yeah. Well, I had my turning point in college. It's not like it like went that well for me either. But it's interesting looking back. Like that's really where my heart was formed.
Yeah.
For that, like for prayer, was that I would go to adoration every evening, like and say like if I had a test the next day. Like that's a crazy thing for a junior in high school. But so I will say like Life Teen gave me that gift. Like I found my place. I didn't fit in at school with people really. Like I had my friends, but I never felt like I didn't dress well, even though my mother is a stylist. Like I revolted against that and was very uncomfortable with my peers. And so having my youth group was a place where I found that I could fit in, and like gave me a place to know God better and like form that deep relationship that wasn't just like rules and doing things right,
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird to be that kid, but.
So when was the first time that you guys made money doing something creative?
Well, I was doing a lot of like mom blogging before Blessed Is She. So I would do like blog posts and stuff like that. and make like affiliate monies, you know, which was
When
cool.
was the first time you decided to be a mom blogger then?
Well, once I don't remember when I started blogging, but I started with a blog called A Mama Collective because I wanted it to be a collective of moms talking about like mom stuff. So literally, you guys, I'm like obsessed with teams. Like I cannot do things on my own, which is probably something I need to like take to prayer. But I started doing that. And so I made money like on affiliate sales and stuff like that. But after that, I honestly, Blessed Is She was like the first time that I ever like created a product and people bought it. And it like blew my mind. Like I was like, oh, I like to use prayer journals. And so Blessed Is She started September 2014. And I just made this thing in Canva because I don't know anything about Photoshop or anything. And so I just made this book in Canva in October. I put it for pre-sales and it sold 700 for pre-sale. Like
that's crazy.
Within like 2 months of Blessed Is She being around. So it was like shocking, you know, like holy crap.
How much money did you make with that?
I think I sold it for like $15. So I don't know, 15 times 700, 35. I don't know what that is. So then I went to go print it, but like the dimensions on Canva back then weren't right for printing. So then I was like, oh, well, I had this money so I can hire a designer to make this book that I already like showed everyone. So it's just make it look exactly how I made it, you know? But it was just like my first realization of pre-orders, which have like revolutionized my life. I've never done anything on Blessed Is She on credit. I've always only done projects if we have the funds to do it. Like I'm a huge believer in that just for like how I do Blessed Is She. So that's like really, really important to me. And pre-orders like changed my life. Like also like being able to gauge interest and stuff like that. So anyway.
Yeah,
I'm a big pre-order fan.
So, sort of doing it as a team, like the whole community.
Totally. Yeah, like you guys are funding this. And so, I mean, similar to like a Kickstarter, but like it's actually a product in a store and But people get really confused about pre-orders and I get lots of angry emails. So it's something I've been dealing with for 4 years, but we're figuring it out.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, totally. How about you? What was the first thing you did creatively for money?
The very first thing that I did was for Janet Sum, now Janet Easter. She was a friend of mine. She's one of the co-founders of Verily. And I had just been doing lettering for fun, like a hobby after work. And then she sent me this thing, like a verse that she wanted written. So I was like, yeah, I could do that. I have $20. You give me $20 for that?
Oh my gosh.
And she still has it in her home. And it makes me want to cry every time I see it. Because I'm like, Janet, you should just take that down. I could make you a new one. But there's, you know, she has the first piece. It was $20 that I sold that one for. And then that's when I realized like, oh, I could monetize this. I know that to be a thing. And I'm not, the thing is, I am a creative and I'm not a great seller. So that's where like Jenna is so amazing at that. Like I have my own shop, but I can sell like 1/5,000th of what Jenna can sell because she's good at that. And so it's really interesting. You know, selling 700 journals is still amazing to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even happening anymore, but we still.
Yeah. So before I even did that, like in between blogging, when I was still blogging, I took a lot of courses. You know, it's like when courses like first started, when they like started being popular. So I took a copywriting course, which is huge to me that I ever took. I remember asking Mike, like, hey, this is $1,000. Is it cool to do this? And he was like, sure. I mean, he's just so chill. So that was definitely changed my world, like understanding how important copy is for sure. Yeah.
So as partners then, going a little bit more into that whole specialization and how you work together, like what's a moment or a time that in your relationship where you were surprised by the other person and you were like, oh my gosh, like I've needed this and it's really like taught me about myself or taught me about the world.
Do you have something?
Huh. It's so funny because I didn't even have a career. Like my career happened at the same time as knowing Jenna. So I don't know what it's like without her. Like I don't know what that, without talking to her on the phone 20 times a week is like. But there have been a couple times that we'll come to each other and we're kind of distraught about something, or we're like, can we do this? Or what are we doing? And then we'll return to those same kind of things. Like we need the reminder quite frequently. And one of the first ones I can remember is when we discussed keeping our eyes on our own paper. Like it's really difficult with Instagram and Pinterest because there are a lot of amazing people doing a lot of amazing things, and it can make you want to stop and throw your pencil down and say, like, other people are doing it, I'm not gonna do this. And we can admire and we can use that for inspiration, but especially when we really start to dig into the creative process of a new product or a new design, like there's a moment that we have to turn off everyone else's stuff and like let the spirit guide what our thing is. And so we said, I think maybe Jenna said it to me or something, but like, keep your eyes on your own paper. And so that always, like, even just that little sentence will get me back in. And it doesn't mean I'm copying. It means I'm looking at someone else and saying they're better than me. And I wish I was them, or I wish I designed like that. It's not, I don't think we've ever, like, we really try to not do what other people are doing. But if we start to look around and start to compare and despair, which a lot of people say compare and despair, but it is really important, especially in our work. Like, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot that can get in the way of actually creating something that is true to our brand, to the women that we're serving. And so it's a good reminder for me, like, to not get upset that someone else is making, I don't even know what they could be making that we'd want to be.
Yeah, like just the comparison and
anything,
envy and all of that. Like,
so that like leads us to the darkness, or like the envy or quitting or whatever it is.
So basically the story was you guys were in the middle of a creative project and you were feeling that sense of envy, and then Jenna was like, keep your eyes on your own paper.
I don't even think we were working. I think it was in the middle of a non-working, like we weren't working on a project. And in those in between, when we're waiting
for the next
thing to come, it was like, wow, look at this person's, I don't know, art or lettering, or this product that they just came out with. Like, what are we doing? Kind of thing.
Jenna, how did you know to say that? Where did that come from?
Hillary Rushford. She's amazing. In case no one knows her, you should go look her up. She will change your Instagram life. Yeah, she said it before, and I loved it. And along those same lines as Erica, I think the Lord has to, I mean, I know he has his hand in all of this, but there's been times where I'm like, Erica, I can't do this anymore. Like, this situation happened. It's like too much. Like,
give me one of those.
This can be too much. Well, I mean, the one thing I can't talk about.
Yeah. I mean, even like we put out a product and it's a small business. And I think because it has gotten so big and has grown into this really beautiful, huge thing, people don't understand that it's Jenna and her husband shipping this stuff out of the garage. Yeah. And we are getting these things printed, and we are seeking highest quality, and there are still sometimes errors that we can't even, if something's shrink wrapped, we don't know what's inside. Mm-hmm. So we can't check all of those little things. And so the customer service can be really complicated, of people upset that this is not happening, and not understanding that, like, alongside Blessed Is She, Jenna also has 4 children and a marriage to tend to and her friends. And there are a lot of us working in this, but I mean, there's only so much two people can do in terms of shipping things out, or, you know, and that can get those complaints or those, I don't know, the emails can get overwhelming, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it can be like, it weighs on my marriage. You know, we get in like really huge fights about it, to be frank. So it can be exhausting, you know, so it's nice. What I was trying to get to is like, I can call Erica and say like, this is too much. This has been crazy. And for like some reason that week or something, she heard from someone else, like what a gift Blessed Is She has been in their life, or like been in a relationship or talking to someone who said like, Blessed Is She has changed my life in this way, or I love this product for this reason. And like, this is like actually changing lives. And so like none of the everything else matters. The money doesn't matter. The fear of money,
The shipping,
the hard work, like all of that, it is like, I always say this, but I realize it's inappropriate. It's like mouse nuts compared to like to the magnitude of one soul being drawn closer to the Lord, like one person, you know, and it's such a gift. So I think that the Lord like plants those little seeds in Erica's heart on the exact week where I was going to fall apart, and she's able to speak into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is amazing how like a lot of times God gives someone else close to us the thing that we need, so that we have to be in relationship and can't be an island, you know?
Totally.
And there's definitely been, I mean, yeah, there's some times recently with our business where like Marcelino and Augusta are sort of in the process of getting married, and like have some major team conflict, and it feels like our whole team is about to like rupture. When you only have like 3 people or 4 people that are consistently working together, you like one conflict with one person just feels like it is the end of the world, you know? And if it's a really big one, you know, if it feels like you're about to like lose a person from your team that's like that crucial or that central, it can be intense. So anyway, we're going through a time like that, and I just remember having the conversation with the team member and being like, trying to go upstairs and like journal it out, and just not like, there was nothing that I could do to get out of my own head with it. I was in such a state of like anxiety and pain. And then I just walked downstairs, which is like one of the great things about living with your business partner. I just like walked downstairs and sat down in Marcelino's bed and was just like, dude, I think I just said the word dude and then stopped and didn't say anything else. But, you know, he stopped what he was doing and like just ministered to me. And there's been so many times when we've had to do that for each other. Like aside from the amount of the giftings that he has and that I have in terms of like organizational strengths or creativity or filmmaking or design, I think the most crucial part of like our partnership has been those dark nights where one of us has been able to show the other person love and give us what we've needed to be able to like keep on working, you know, the next day. So yeah, it's really beautiful. It sounds like you guys do that for each other in a lot of different ways. Yeah. What was a conflict that you guys had that
between each other?
Yeah.
Have we had one?
I don't know.
I honestly can't think of.
You can't think of a conflict? That's amazing.
You know, Beth talks about this often. She's like, we're working together. We have 40 writers on the team, right? So we have a big team, but there's only me, Beth, and Mike here all the time. Like, I don't see Erica enough to really have conflict. You know what I mean? Like, we're just not with each other. So we're, in terms of like a personal relationship, but even I think work wise, we both work really similarly, which I think is really helpful. Like we have really, don't you think we have similar work ethics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I mean, even in terms of like our creative work, I think we respect each other so much in the other person's eye or the other person's expertise that we defer to each other. Like there's never been a time where Jenna's like, hey, I think we need to change this. And I'm like, I don't want to change it. I'm like, oh yeah, good idea. Yeah. And so
that's humility. Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's a respect, and then we aren't in each other's space all the time.
Right.
For that kind of personal thing. But I honestly, like, I can't.
Yeah. I think about it with other people that I have had conflicts with. I think something that I'm trying to go back to often is like each of us has a specific and individual relationship with the Lord. And so I try to think like, Jesus, tell me how it is that you're able to talk to this person, because I want to adopt your language and how this person is in relationship with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think that's something that I try to go back to often and just be like, I love Erica's heart and you made her this way. And so teach me how to talk to her heart in the specific way that she needs to hear love and respect, and to be able to continue this relationship, you know, in terms of every person on our team.
Beautiful. What was the time when she did that, Erica?
I mean, I probably didn't even know it was happening. To be honest, I was just like Jenna has always treated me with respect and comes to me with like a concern. Like we'll talk through a project and say like, is this the right direction? And she never says like, this is not good, you know, or like that. So maybe that's where it comes from. Like, I also think she understands that I like a lot of autonomy. Like I want to be told what to do, and then I will do it. And sometimes I forget to send a belly band or something, and all she says is like, hey, can you send the belly band? You know? And then I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. And so in that, like, she knows, she has taken the time to see how I work. And so I don't even think I noticed that is her leadership skill, because it's so seamless, you know? But I also think it goes back to how we like to work. Like Jenna is managing 70 people, you know, in like the bigger scheme of the business. And she does not want to check up on me. She does not have time to check up on me. And so that works well for me because I don't like people who check up on me. So there's certain parts where like, that's why the relationship works.
Yeah.
You know? But I also, like, Jenna asks how I am, how my relationship with Paul is, how my family is. Like, she knows the things that are worrying me, and she asks about them. And not just about like where the cover art
Where's
is.
the belly band?
Yeah. Right. Like it's that friendship piece too, that she takes the time to care about my personal life. And I think a lot of times, like, we work, especially in the beginning, I mean, we were working 7 days a week. I didn't have kids or a husband or a significant other at all. So I was available. I don't know how she did it, but there was like times where we were working and we're constantly trying to figure out our own relationships and family life and like how that's going to fit in. And some of that has had to change in the past year because of my relationship. And she's respectful of that, you know, like there is that humanity, and it's not just, while this is our work is our life in a lot of senses with this, we adapt and are flexible, and that is like, she's not a boss who is like, I don't care that your fiance needs to spend the day alone with you and not answer the phone, you know, like she's like, okay, talk to you tomorrow, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. makes a lot of sense. Do you so what are your sort of dreams / what is Blessed Is She becoming? What's happening now? What's next?
My dream is to be the Catholic Target.
Mm.
Literally, I just want to take over the world. In terms of like, I want Blessed Oshi to be in every home. And like, I don't know. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I'm okay with big dreams.
Yeah. Shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you land somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Somebody's gonna-
is there like a dream for like the man's ministry stuff happening then? Are you like opening up
No.
that side of things?
No, I've gotten emails from men who say like, hey, I'm feeling called to do this. Can you answer some questions? And I'm more than happy to tell them kind of background of Blessed Oshi and how it started. And so if you ever know of any men asking questions, you can shoot them my way. But yeah, I don't feel called to start that.
We
I was asking a little bit like in jest, you know?
Yeah. No, totally. No, but I mean, people do kind of like,
there's
people
a lot of
think
people who ask
that we can just do anything, which we can, God willing. But we don't feel called to do that at all.
I think a lot of women,
or to like help and, you know, like be in it with someone doing it. Like, I'm like, yeah, you go, I'm totally in it. You should do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Totally. But
like,
back
remember, wait,
Yeah.
1 second. There was a time when I swear that there was something written for men and we sent it around. And then like the moral of the story is men don't want to listen to women, like not in a terrible way, but like you don't want your wife telling you what to do in your prayer life. She already tells you.
No, men need men. That's it.
Unload the dishwasher.
Yeah.
So there's like, we don't need to be doing that. We can work with children because that's a lot of our tendencies. Most of the women a lot of them have children. But it's so funny. It's like, there has to be men who step up to the plate for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Whatever that looks like, you know.
Totally. Yeah. I think it's going to look different for men. You guys want different things.
That's true. That's true. Okay. But back to what actually is like dream for what's going on right now for you guys.
Go ahead, Erica.
Well, I don't think we're quite ready to talk about what we are working on. No? For Blessed Oshi?
I mean, Erica just went to China.
Yeah.
And met a lot of people. So we have a lot of product ideas now, which is like it's like the world is opening up and you're like, oh my gosh, there's more to create other than a print and a book. And like, holy cow.
And a tote bag.
So now we're like really dreaming, like what else could we make, you know? And so we're excited about that to see what happens with that. But we are like, my dream is to still be in parishes. I'm still going after that. So we're like collecting parish emails for different faith formation directors and hoping to reach out to them and tell them about Blessed Oshi and the ministry and what we can offer to their women's ministry. So that's definitely still a big dream of mine, is to, like, I just want women to get together and to pray together. And so I want to keep on making product that helps them to do that.
Right now, because I'm sharing all the stuff I learned in China. There's just so much information and so many cool things that I learned how to make and met people who can help us make them. And so yesterday we had an idea, we were talking, and it's really funny. So I was like, okay, well, we have this I'm working on right now. The next thing up we have for Advent, and I listed like 5 things. So I was like, it looks like this launch would happen next summer, if this new thing we were talking about yesterday. And I was like, the only thing we don't have anything for is in 2 months. But to get that done and back from China in 2 months would mean that we would need to submit it tomorrow. And then I started to see that the reality was that I was going to submit it by tomorrow. So I was like, okay, well, we're going to need paper. I brought my paints. I'll just paint it now while we talk. So I painted a bunch of fruit. Today, we're going to finish the pattern, decide what it's going on, the exact things that we need. I have the contacts, and we're going to send it off. And it is such a good explanation of how this relationship has worked.
Yeah.
Things happen very quickly. We turn them around. We don't dilly-dally about, do we like this? Should we try something else? We just trust that the first times.
I think that's huge for us, is we're both very much like a leap and see what happens. And like, we just keep leaping.
Yeah. And like the liturgical planner, I made that first one in less than a month, and we bought 300 of them because we did not know if anyone was going to buy one.
Yeah.
And we sold out in like a day.
Yeah.
And then we had to make more the next time. But it's like you just go and you make stuff. So today, after this call, we have to finish these products.
Yeah, I mean, what are we even doing on the phone right now?
I know, right? China awaits.
China calls.
China is calling. Well, I feel like that's a great natural ending. So do you guys have any parting words that you want to say before you guys go ahead and jump off and jump into your next venture? Any advice about partnership or collaboration or anything?
I say the more collaboration, the better. I think continuing to humble ourselves and work together is huge, and it's all for the betterment of the kingdom. And having like mutual respect for each other, not collaboration where it's take, but that there is a real give and take in each of these relationships. And so just go find your team. Yeah.
Erica, how about you?
I think on my side of things, like my view of what Jenna has grown here is that when it is truly of the Lord, like it is blessed, and it doesn't have to be a grappling and there's hard work in it. It doesn't mean it's easy by any means, but there are certain things that just fall into place and that are revealed and given, that we don't have to like clench for and grasp for.
Yeah.
They're just given.
Yeah. Open hands versus like striving or like trying to get it. Yeah.
All right. That's a great thing. Thank you guys so much for taking the time in the middle of your crazy risk-taking moment.
Thank you.
You'll see the product
and talk to us
in a month.
Yeah.
Probably.
We will all look forward to that product with bated breath for sure. Yeah, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. And
thank you.
Time to talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to just stop the broadcast and we'll be
perfect. All right.